Hiya folks, and welcome back to the Small Business Toolbox, where we're looking at the nuts and bolts of self-employment in the UK. Now, this video that you're about to watch, it's a bit of an old video. It was originally uploaded to my Andy Mac Drums channel back in, well, it was recorded well over 2 years ago, back around December 2016, I think. But there's a lot of the information in it that's still probably useful and still valid. So in that video, I had a quick look at how I record expenses and receipts. First of all, using the kind of more bog standard spreadsheet method for logging everything. And then I'm also having a look at the One Tap Receipts app, who originally sponsored that video way back then. So I have no idea what that app looks like now. In this video that you're about to watch, you're looking at what the app used to look like 2 years ago. So I'm really just uploading it to this channel just so that we've got a complete record of everything that used to be on the Andy Mac Drums channel. Hopefully it's still of some use to you anyway. If you're watching this on New Year's Eve when this video first came out, very happy New Year to you all, and have a fantastic 2019 as well. Loads of stuff planned on this channel over 2019, but for now, let's go back in time to December 2016. So I've already done a couple of videos on how to do your tax if you're self-employed, and a couple of self-employment tips and all that sort of jazz. But at the minute, we're in December. It's December 2016 when I'm filming this. And it's that time where you should really be thinking about getting your tax return done and dusted. If nothing else, get everything kind of prepared so that all you have to do in January is actually fill in the return, because you might come into unknowns and questions or problems when you come to actually filling in your return. So you want to get as much done in advance as possible. If you've been really organised, you'll have nothing to worry about because you'll have logged all your receipts and income on the go. But nobody does that. I always say I'm going to do that, and I still don't do that. I have, so far, sellotaped all me receipts to bits of paper. I'm not going to go over stuff that we've already talked about in terms of how to fill in a tax return. I'll put a link in the description to the other videos I've done that explain all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to assume that you understand the terminology that I'm going to be talking about in this video. The other thing is, in case you're not aware, the whole tax system in the UK is apparently going to be changing to this new digital real-time tax information system. So if you're reading about that thinking, what on earth is that about? I've been self-employed for 20 years and I have no clue what that's about. But yeah, the government's brought out this thing, or they've talked about bringing out this thing by 2020, whereby everyone's going to have their digital online tax account. I'm assuming on a month-by-month basis or even a daily basis. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work. Either way, it sounds horrific. I'm quite happy doing my tax return once a year, thank you very much. Not 12 times a year, it's bad enough to do it once a year. Anyway, all I'm going to talk about today is receipts. Well, logging your receipts basically, so that you've got those two totals that I've talked about in the other videos, your Capex total and your Opex total. I'm going to show you how I've always done it in the past, first of all, which is a very manual, quite labour intensive way of doing things. And then I'm going to show you what could potentially be a game changer, and it's a new app that I've come across, and I'm going to show you that app and what a difference that could potentially make. So I'm going to show you the manual way first. What I've done for the previous tax year is I've got all of my receipts and I've sellotaped them to scrap bits of A4 paper. I've printed out everything. I'm not saying that that's the way you should do it, but for this tax year, this is the way I have done it. Any kind of normal till receipts and that, they're all sellotaped to bits of paper. It just makes it easier to find the receipts, basically. And then I've organised them month by month. So they're not in any order or anything. They're all receipts for April. They're all receipts for May, etc., etc. And I've got them for the entire tax year in a folder here. I've also numbered them all. So let me find some receipts that don't have really confidential information on. No, definitely not. Okay, that'll do. Right, so here we've got a couple of receipts from April 2015. So 7th of April, so that's in the new tax year. Remember, the tax year starts on the 6th of April. The end of the previous tax year is the 5th of April. So anything up to the 5th of April is the 14-15 tax year. This is the 15-16 tax year that I'm doing here. So we've got one here, just a parking receipt for 60p. I know I'm claiming a 60p parking receipt. What do you got to do? And here I've got, what's this, another parking receipt for £1. No, sorry, for £7.50. It all adds up. So what I've done, as I say, I've numbered all the receipts, stuck them all to a bit of A4 paper, and then all I need to do is enter them all onto a spreadsheet to add them all up. One little thing to watch for when you do this is that sellotape can make the writing on thermal receipts disappear. You can see there where it says Newcastle City Council. It started fading away, and it's a sellotape. I don't know why. It's some weird reaction between the receipt and the sellotape. So if there's any really important information under the sellotape, like the total or the date, I also write it on the receipt in case it completely fades away and you can't see it anymore. There's not a lot I can do about that. Sorry, HMRC, but speak to the people who invent sellotape and receipts. Right, so here we go on a month that I've not started entering yet. We've got October 2015, and all I'm going to do to start off with is number the receipts. So I'm starting at 70, I know I'm up to 75. So here's 75. I like to put the number on the top corner as well. Just makes it a bit easier to find them. I'm not going to do all of them, just a few, just to show you different types of receipts and how I deal with them. 80, 81. I'm not entering these as 20p parking receipts as all separate transactions. 81. This is all just going to go in as one. 82. I'm sure that the revenue won't care about that at all. Right, so here we are in my spreadsheet where I'm going to log all this. I'll show you these formulas later on because they'll make more sense after I've entered the receipts in. But you can see basically I'm logging Opex and Capex because I've got two separate self-employed businesses here, which ultimately are going to result in two separate self-employed forms being completed on the tax return. So I need two separate totals of everything, two separate totals of income, two separate totals of Opex, and two separate totals of Capex. Right, so let me just scroll across here. So the first one, receipt number 75 to my P is Wix. The item, you don't have to go to the nth degree. I'm just putting customer materials. At the end of the day, if you need more detail than that, you can always look the receipt up. HMRC at this stage don't care. All they want is a total, remember. So this is an Opex. And the business is my handyman business. The total is £2.02 and the date was 2nd October 15. Right. Right, so this is the one I was saying where I'm just going to bundle them together. I really don't think that HMRC care about individual 20p parking receipts, so I'm just going to put them all together as one receipt. But what I will do is in the formula there, add them up, and it saves me using my brain. That'll do, that's fine. Okay, so I'm only going to do those 8 receipts, and that one's a bundle. I'll make a note. So you can see over here on the right, let me just show you the formulas first of all. You can see the formulas in the formula bar at the top. So these, I've already put the formulas in. The month is that formula, which takes it from this cell. The year is that formula to work out the year. And then I'll just do a concatenation of those two to get this figure. The tax year is just manually entered and copied down. Renewal date. Sometimes I log if it's like a yearly thing. And then over here, this is all automatically worked out. Here I'll show you one formula and you can work it out from the rest if you know your Excel formulas. I'm not going to go into how this formula works. It's not an Excel video. So you can see I've got various Opex, various Capex for both businesses. So that's a fairly typical few receipts that I've put in there. This is only a fraction of the receipts that I would generally have for a typical month, by the way, but you get the general idea. Customer materials are always an Opex. It's an operational expense. It's an ongoing cost of doing business. Here we've got a cajon that I bought from the drum shop. That's a Capex item. I need it for teaching, and this cost £100, and it's simple as that. It's a Capex item, so it goes in the Capex column. It's not something that I'm going to be selling to a customer. But then here we've got drumsticks. Drumsticks is an operational expense because they're a consumable, you know, they're the drumming equivalent of printer paper. They are an operational expense. They wear out and you buy new ones. So to me, that means it's an operational expense. Soldering iron tips. You could argue it's only £2.46. Who cares? My personal rule of thumb is it likely to last longer than a year? If it's not, then I view that as a consumable item. For £2.46, the Inland Revenue really don't care about stuff like that, as long as you're logging it. So then all I would do, once I've done this for every month and entered all the receipts, is I would get a total of each of these columns, and that's enough information on the expense side to fill in the tax return. So if you think that's a huge pain in the backside, you'd be 100% correct. It's one of the major reasons that a lot of self-employed people don't bother to claim any receipts at all, and they're missing out on a huge amount of either tax rebate or they're paying too much tax. So the good news is that there's an app to help you with this, and let's have a quick look at it. So it's called One Tap Receipts. And what you do is you take a photo of your receipt. It does the rest for you. So let's give it a try. I'll show you it working. So here's the receipts that we entered onto Excel before. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up one side. Normally you would just take a photo of our receipt when you get it, and you wouldn't bother with the whole sellotaping them to bits of paper thing, because you wouldn't need to do that anymore. So here we go. Let's give this a try on this receipt and see if it works. So literally all I did was, well, I'll show you on this one. That one's processing. We'll do this one as well. So all I'm going to do, I click the camera button down here, and this pops up, and then I'm going to focus it on the receipt, which is going to be out of shot of the camera. So you're not going to see us doing that, but I'm just going to focus on the receipt and press the red button. This might be blocking the camera, I'm not sure. Okay, what happens here is that it's uploading your pictures of your receipts to the cloud to securely store them. I think they're stored on Amazon's servers. It's probably a lot more secure than how you're currently storing your tax information. So I'm going to do a couple more. Let's just see what happens here. So again, I'm going to cover up one side just so that it doesn't get too confused. You wouldn't normally have to bother doing that. And we'll do that one as well. Do this one. I'm not doing all of them. So here we go. So it's on the processing tab here. This is what happens while it's busy analysing receipts. But it's already done some of them. So here, Wix. 2nd of October 2015. It's got a supplier correct. £2.02. Cost of goods bought for resale. Yep, that's all correct. Oops. Alright, okay, it's finished analysing all the other receipts. Plum fix. We've got 1st of October 2015, £18.26. It's got it down as repair and renewals of property and equipment, which is incorrect for my business. For most businesses actually, whoops, sorry camera. For most businesses that would be perfectly correct. But in my case that's actually cost of goods for resale. Let's see if it's got these ones. So it's gone through and it's recognised on the receipt all the key information. So here, plum fix, 7th of October, 29.20. Repairs and renewals, I'll just change that to cost of goods. Another one, plum fix, 31.49, cost of goods. Oh, I forgot to save that. Cost of goods, save. So there we go, it's got all those. Okay, that's interesting. So we've got an unknown supplier one here. Other business expenses. Okay, so we've got £100. Unknown supplier. To be fair, it doesn't say anywhere here who the supplier is. In little letters down here we've got Newcastle Drum Centre. To be fair, I'm not surprised I didn't get that. We'll just update that. I'll just put drum shop. We've got other business expenses, £2.46, Amazon. It's got it all absolutely spot on. And then all you do, go on the HMRC tab, and there's everything automatically added up for you. I'm hoping you can see that. Phones are really hard to film, but it's got it all spot on. And all you would do is take those figures and pop them onto your tax return. Job's a good one. I'm really impressed. So far, on every single receipt I've tried it on, it's got all the information correct. Bearing in mind that it's scanning the receipt. So there you go, it's called one-tap receipts. It's worked perfectly on every receipt I've tried it on so far. Awesome, really good. So there you go, I hope you found that vaguely useful, and get on top of your tax now. You know, the sooner you get it out the road, you can relax and enjoy Christmas and New Year without having to think of this elephant in the room of having to do all your tax in January. Thanks to One Tap Receipts for sponsoring this video. In terms of backups and stuff like that, I know a few people might worry about, okay, well this is going off into the cloud, and what happens if One Tap disappear, or what if Amazon disappear or something like that. They are putting a feature into it where you'll be able to download everything for an offline copy. And the other thing I would just suggest is still keep your receipts, but you don't have to bother cataloguing them anymore. It's going to be 1,000 times better than anything you've got at the minute. When's the last time you ran a backup? At the end of the day, you're going to keep your receipts in a big folder. I would just write the tax year on the folder, and that's it. Once you've taken a photo of the receipt, keep it anyway, and but you'll probably never have to touch it again. And that's going to save a huge amount of time for me. So awesome stuff, really impressed with it. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a quick thumbs up as well. Thanks again to everyone for the kind comments. At the end of the day, tax isn't the most exciting subject in the world. As I say, I'm not an accountant, but I've been self-employed for the best part of 20 years. I've done a lot of tax returns in that time. But for now, thanks again for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye!